Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar produced by Business Performance USA. We're honored to have you as our guest, and we know that you're going to have a great time here today listening to one of our favorites speakers, executive volunteer, Kenna Lewis. She'll be talking today about are you leaving money on the table and how to monetize your business know-how. And I can imagine that people are thinking, well, do I need to do that? And I would say, no matter where you are, if you own a business or you're an employee in a business or you're thinking about setting up a business, you need to hear what Kenna has to say on this topic. So we're looking forward to it. And just to let you know about Business Performance USA, we produce weekly webinars on Tuesday at noon Central to provide business insights on a great variety of topics that are important to business professionals. Um, as I had said earlier, Ken is an executive volunteer, and this is a voluntary association that provides online business information exchange. And so when you become a member, you can meet people from across the U.S. and engage in business conversations on topics like today's and many others. And you can become a member at no cost and engage at any time. So it's a great deal. And it's a great way to really develop yourself and develop your leadership. It's a great way to engage your employees in some online development. So we encourage you to come on and join us. One of the many benefits is you get to hear all of these webinars, and we've been doing this for over a year now. So we have webinars on demand. So as a member, you can come on your time at any time and participate and listen and grow and learn. And with that, you can grow, learn, and succeed. So here we go. Our webinar today, and let me switch this, as I said, is leaving money on the table. And I'm Cynthia Stewart. I'm managing partner, owner of Evermore Services, your partner in building tomorrow's businesses for today. And Kenna is your presenter. She's owner of Social Centric Media. So let's make sure this hour is worth your time. Please use the question feature on your dashboard. And if you have any other specific questions, write this down, Cynthia at businessperformanceusa.org. Be happy to entertain any kind of workplace issue because we have quite a set of volunteers who can give you expertise and advice. And you can watch our on-demand webinars, of course, at businessperformanceusa.org or on the YouTube channel, user bpusa.org. Okay, so your executive presenter today is Kenna Lewis, and she is quite the energetic entrepreneur. She first excelled in corporate America with Fortune 500 companies, and then she founded the Leadership Institute for Kansas City. It's a firm that provides leadership development and coaching, and she has quite a number of clients who really love what she does with them in the Kansas City area and really the Midwest. As well, Kenna has founded Craving Talk Radio. She discovered a real missing need, and that is people who like talk radio and who want to listen to it on the internet, which brings the costs down. Also, people that like to go out and grab web podcasts and so forth. So, Craving Talk Radio is another of Kenna's uh, entrepreneurial efforts. And thirdly, she founded Social Centric Media, and she is the sassy socialista. I love that, how she titled herself. And she follows new trends and developments in SEO, local search, and reputation management. And she's able to really advance client campaigns and optimize their budgets using social media. So she's very knowledgeable in this and helps many of her clients get their campaigns up and going. And she is going to take all of this knowledge today and kind of shift the topic a little bit around this topic, how to monetize your business know-how. And so we welcome you, Kenna, and let me pass the screen over to you.
Sounds great.
All right.
A little thing, share my screen, put that up. And we are going to go to full screen here. No, not go to meeting preview. Oh, just so many things to do here to get this going. Well, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited about this topic. As a business coach, as well as a business owner, I know that we as people who do hobbies and businesses get very, very focused on what we do. And we sometimes don't see the forest for the trees. We see the process that we're doing, we see the way that we make money, and we never step back to see, are there additional streams of income that could come in? And maybe some only just a little bit, but who wants to turn down $100 if it's just even $100 these days? That's, some gas money. And there are ways that we can monetize our businesses, our hobbies, and our knowledge. And we overlook that. And as we know, especially sometimes when it may come to our hobbies and our knowledge, we may not think we know enough to make any money off of it. But hopefully through this presentation, you'll find that that's not true. So I want you to put a hat on, whether you have a business, whether you have a hobby, or something that you're really passionate and good at, and take a look at, is there a way to monetize and make money off of it? And I will tell you that there is. The first thing I want to talk to you about is advertising. Now, when you think of advertising on your website, you're going to go, oh, no, I don't want to do that. That's just going to look slimy. And it can. What I sometimes talk to people is don't put any advertising on your main website at all, but take a look at your blog. And it's possible that your blog might be the only place that you want to advertise, and that's okay. And you may not want to choose to do that, but this is to think about things that if you do have a hobby, or let's say you have a business, you have a hobby, you want to put a blog together and monetize that for an additional stream of income, then I want you to think about these things and do it. I'm friends with a woman who, there were two of them, and they started a business called Thirsty Girl. And their goal initially was to create dynamic networking groups for women throughout the country, with the focus being both networking for business and wine. They could learn more about wine, obviously drink a little bit, and have a good time and build relationships. Well, they started this Thirsty Girl website, this whole idea that that's what they were going to do, and it took off. They started building these Thirsty Girl groups within cities all over the country. However, pretty soon they had over $750,000 in advertising off of their website from different wine manufacturers who saw what they were doing. So sadly, because they were getting so much money in the door through advertising, some of the what they initially focused on as these groups throughout the country kind of fizzled a little bit, but they still were able to deliver content, change their business model, deliver content on the web, and still get this kind of advertising dollars, and who wouldn't like that? So when you look at your website, banners are one place that you could potentially get advertising dollars. And again, think about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you see online from Google Ads or from other things. You can create a space on your website, and you can dictate who gets to advertise on that spot and sell that advertising. Now, of course, to do all this, you're going to have to need website traffic, and you're going to have to make sure you have Google Analytics to prove to people what kind of traffic that you get. So that's another great reason why, and here's my little pitch for social media. Social media will drive website traffic, so why you need that. But you can do that. So don't think of advertising like the spammiest website you've ever seen. Think about it as being highly professional, polished in your domain, with your clients even potentially, as we go through this. So banners are image-based advertisements that can appear anywhere on the page, side, top, bottom sections of websites. You've gone to them, you've seen them. They're on news-based websites, specialized web communities, and blogs. A lot of people do the Google Display Network when they put banners up, and that way they get money every time somebody clicks on one of those banners. Direct banners, it's kind of what started it all. It's just a very static banner, never changes. There's no animation to it. It's just very static. Rotation banners are banners that go to multiple advertisers, so they swap out. And you usually do that on a time basis, and you get more advertisers and thus more money, and they add some animation to your website. Now, again, it depends on what your business is and what your clientele is, how you do this, and if you want to do it. I remember when I created a website years and years and years ago. It was a sports-based website that was trying to drive engagement for NCAA Division One, but Division Two and Three, because Division Two and Three get overlooked quite often. And we created a banner of rotation where we could create anything. So a sorority could promote a little box for $50, or somebody could promote an event. They could promote how much they loved somebody. We actually did have somebody, gentleman, who proclaimed his love on one of those little banners. And that was just something fun, was in the spirit of what we were doing. It was that target demographic. And if the Russian mob hadn't hacked us and took us over, we might still have that website up. Absolutely. So anyway, something to think about. Now, there are additional things you can do, and you'll see both of these. These are not my favorite things on a website, but one is the interstitial ads, and this is where you go to a web page and you get sidetracked to another page before you even get to see the content. You can do that, or once you start actually reading the content, it also then sidetracks you. I don't like it because obviously I'm there for the content, but exactly as this says, people tend to stay because they're there for the content. So you got to be really careful. And I mean, Forbes does it. A lot of them do it. So understand that your audience could be upset by this. So it may not be something that you want to do. May want to do it more on a blog, never on a website for business. But that's what's happening when you go to a website and you get sidetracked to another page. There's also a thing called ambush ads, and they're very similar to interstitials. The difference is you may not be aware they're happening. So let's say you close your browser and all of a sudden you've got an advertisement that wasn't actually a pop under. That's what an ambush ad is. Pop-ups happen that way. Auto-run video windows. Have you seen floating ads that as you actually go down the page, the ad stays with you? That can be very irritating. Now, I avoid all these as well, but I will recommend, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, that you always put a pop-up for email signups on your websites. That's about the only pop-up I do, and it's usually very, very tasteful, but we'll talk about that later. Now, everybody talks about Google Ads. Both has buying them a lot of times for their business, but in this case, we're talking about selling, putting them on your website. And so people can pay per click, and you get the money from that. It's a way to do it if you have a blog. If you have a hobby, it's a great way to make additional money on a hobby website or on a blog. And again, even if you have a business and you're passionate about something, it's very easy to get a template from WordPress and fix it up, put a blog post up, put a picture up, put audio up, put stuff up, and sell advertising on it. So think about that. I know it sounds like a little bit of work, and it is, but again, it can be a pretty significant revenue stream depending on what you do with it. Now, there's also a thing called text link advertising. And this is when you go to a page and you're reading content, and all of a sudden one of the words in the content will be in blue, and you know it's a link. And it will take you somewhere or give you a pop-up about it. I don't mind them when their content is similar to what I'm reading, but sometimes it is just out there so very different than what I'm reading, and I don't like that when that occurs. But most people consider this part of the content. They don't see it as advertising, So that's something to think about if you want to do that on your blog. Retargeting ads entice a user to visit a site by taking into account the user's past web history. You'll see this, and at first I was like, wow, how did they know I just went to Horchow? Or how did they know I was just at this website? Because sure enough, the picture of that website, or maybe even what you were looking at, displays. Well, that's a retargeting ad. It is done when they know what you've been looking at, and they want you to either, because of the cookies that you've done, they attach that ad hoping that you'll hit it again. So once the user leaves the advertiser's site and begins journeying to other websites, targeting ads can be made to appear in certain ad displays. And I thought it was a little freaky first, so I actually went and did a little research. How did they know that? And of course, it made total sense with cookies and everything that they do it. So it's something to think about. It does force you to go back sometimes, or at least I have, thinking, yeah, I did really like that bracelet. Let me hit it one more time and let me look again at the cost, or let me look at something else on the website. So retargeting ads tend to perform drastically better than regular banner ads with higher click-through rates and conversions, and that makes sense. They know what you like, they put it up there for you, and you're going to go back to it. Video ads are gaining in popularity because speed is becoming more universal. Everybody's computer is up to snuff. You're not getting as much rebuffering, so video ads are gaining in popularity. The best really use education on some topic versus blatant advertising. There was a web bridal gown website. And so their video ad was actually showing how to do your hair different ways as a bride with your gown. So it was more a how-to on different styles in that, but obviously you would hit it and it'll take you back to the website. So the click-through rates sometimes are good, though I think after what Facebook has done with just showing you a lot of video lately, I'm hearing more and more people grumbling about video. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with all that. Any questions? Have you had any yet, Cynthia?
Yes, several, and let me see. One of the things that is being asked has to do with animation and
Mm-hmm.
whether animation is, excuse me, makes a significant difference over like a static banner in terms of, responses to it.
I don't think so, as far as some people like animation, some people don't. Animation, especially in a banner rotation, can be a good thing again because you're getting more advertisers in there. That would be something I would definitely hold for a blog or a hobby site versus a professional website, um, just because animation for some people can be distracting. So if you're going to do something like that, and again, if you've got a website that you might want to do something like this on, maybe don't do it at the head of your website. Do it at a place on the far right, um, on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, depending on how your website's set up, or even towards the bottom, because that way as people scroll down, they'll see it, and that's not the first thing they see or the first impression that they get.
Okay. Okay. I do have another question, and I'm trying to sort it out a little bit. I may have to get your help on this. So,
Okay.
what is the actual work to pay multiple of Google pay-per-click search ads compared with on-site ads? In other words, does it take more effort for you to go and do your own sort of on-site ads than it would just using the Google pay-per-click?
The thing I like about doing yourself, is it going to take more work? Yes. Um, but you're in control, which I think is always kind of important, especially when you're advertising. So what is involved would be having somebody actually sell those ads. And then all they would do is, if you go to A1 Trucking and they wanted to put an ad on, you have them give you the graphic already done, or they can pay you to get the graphic done. And there are places like Fiverr and Odesk and those places that you can go and have that graphic done very, very cheaply. and then you can put it up. So I think you can actually make more money when you do it yourself, plus you're in control of what content is there. I will never forget to this day, there was a gentleman who was a client of mine and didn't want to spend money on a website, even though we talked through templates and how it could do it very affordably. And he went to, I believe it was Merchant Circle, to get a website, and it was $6.95 a month at that time. Well, he's a landscaper, grass cutter, and at the bottom of his page was all this advertising, but it was for sexual infections, if you will, STDs and all this, and he was just alarmed and very upset because obviously he didn't want anything like that appearing on his website. And granted, it was down at the bottom, and he called Merchant Circle and they said, hey, that's what people are looking for, so that's what we're going to put on there. So he
Mm.
eventually had to leave it because, again, he wasn't in control, and it was just, it was inappropriate for a business website to have those things on it. So there's my, balance on why sometimes I do think it's better to be in control of the content that you put on your website, even in advertising. So it
Okay,
might take a
thanks.
little work, but that's
Yeah,
that's me.
it makes a lot of sense, Kenna.
Events. People just don't even think about it. And again, is this going to take some work? Yes. But man, the benefits to your business could be huge, plus a good revenue stream. Now, there are different type of events for you to think about, ad hoc events. This is ones that you would put on only one time, most often due to a special set of circumstances. You cover your costs with sponsors, speakers, advertisers, everything. You're a legal group and you want to hold an event to tell about new HR laws, Family Leave Act when it came about, or um, just anything. You can bring a group in, you can get it paid for. You're giving presenters, or even if you don't have somebody pay for it, which you could, you're giving this presentation to people who could potentially be your clients. I think you're seeing it a lot more in the investment banking industry right now. They're holding, you probably have gotten in your mail, some investment banker or some investment person has invited you to a dinner somewhere for educational purposes. Well, yes, it's educational purposes, but once they're there, they're hoping that they can either set up an appointment to talk with you or get you as a client. So that's one idea. Sorority business discussed topics relevant to high school seniors, but they had fashion, they had hairstyles, they had makeup. Those people were dying to get to that demographic, and they paid. So, think about that. That would be something that might be she held it once a year in order right before, recruitment towards the beginning of summer. Training consulting groups with speakers, local groups and businesses can add flyers, coupons, and goodie bags. You'll find that somebody will sponsor the little goodie bag with advertisement, a plastic bag, and then you can go to your clients, your friends, whatever, and say, hey, you can put a coupon in. And a lot of people love doing that. Anytime there's a soccer tournament or baseball tournament, I always get a goodie bag at a just for all the different restaurants and all the different things that would appropriate for the demographic of my children. So think about that. You can make money off that because people will sponsor those ad hoc events. Now you can do recurring events. There's a bank here. It's a private bank, the Bank of Prairie Village, and Dan Bolin owns it. And that man does a phenomenal job of any small business within Prairie Village that doesn't even bank with him, or any of his customers that start businesses. He throws a little cocktail party for them. So people can come to the bank and get to meet the people, they get to network, and he has a huge relationship in a demographic that's high end dollars income, and they love it. And so that's something that he's done, and it just has brought so much goodwill to what he does. Obviously, customer appreciation can be a great thing. I was with a coaching and therapy group one time, and every quarter they would just have a customer appreciation, come by the office, have a glass of wine, have a few hors d'oeuvres, and just mingle. An informative panel, CEO panel of small businesses. If, obviously it's hard to get the people like the CEO of Sprint and the CEO of Hallmark. So not necessarily I would set your height there until you really establish this. But I think an informative panel of CEOs and small businesses, because again, you can get people there, you can have them pay or do it free. You can probably get the companies of the CEOs to help advertise, to sponsor the event, especially if it's small businesses. And then again, go to places around the area you're going to have it and have them put in goodies for your clients. Specific conferences, bring together a larger audience. Think about the real estate people in your area. They need CEU credit. Anybody that needs CEU credit. So put on a big presentation, charge $49 a person and get the seats full. And again, you can probably get people to sponsor the event. You can get people to advertise in the event. You can even sometimes pay, have speakers pay you to be in these events. So people don't think about this. It's exposure for your business, and yet you can either definitely cover your costs or make money doing it and probably get new clients in doing these type of events. So again, we don't think about it. We don't think about having just a little mingling thing at our businesses once a quarter. But yet it can create so much goodwill, and people come in, and it's a great time then to upsell in a very subtle way. But we would show the classes on a screen that we would be having over the next 3 months. So people, if they hadn't read the newsletter or didn't even know we were offering classes, could see that and say, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't know you were having this kind of retreat. So it's a great way to do that and still get information to them, hand them your newsletter as they walk in the door, because if they read it once, they're more likely to open it up the next time it actually comes in the email. So things to think about.
Couple questions
Anything
there.
on events?
Yeah, couple
Cynthia?
questions there.
Okay.
First of all, let me say that we do have a bank and an insurance company in this area that went together 3 or 4 years ago, and they started holding the executive luncheon series, and they paid for lunch, and slowly but surely grew their crowd. It's a Wednesday lunch, fourth Wednesday of the month on a regular basis, and they grew their crowd, and now they're bringing in other sponsors to share the cost of the lunch, and really nice sit down lunch, and they always have a speaker. So I just want to confirm that that works beautifully in
Mm-hmm.
this market, and probably in any market, things like that. So, finding partners to do those sort of things and then reach to your target market is it's a great idea. And in light of that, do you think that you, for specialized meetings and things like that, that social media and online advertising actually help bring people in and help with some kind of a return on that meeting
Oh,
cost?
absolutely. I mean, obviously, to me, when you say advertising or marketing, it's a combination effort. It's what you're going to set in your newsletter. It's what you're going to put on social marketing or social media. Paid advertising depends on how big event that you're really looking for. If you're starting small, I wouldn't do much paid advertising. I think that when you bring speakers in, one of the things that you can request, or you bring a sponsor in, say, would you please, part of this is I don't want your email list. Maybe as you get bigger, you can say, I want your email list, which would be awesome. But right now, say part of it is going to be, would you please send this out to all your people when we give it to you? So that way now, instead of just maybe if you've got a list of 1,000 people and you've brought 5 other businesses in with you and they have a list of 1,000 people, you've now just, sent information about your event out to 5,000 people. And they're going to want to promote themselves and promote and show their clients that they're helping other clients out. So I think that's one of the great ways to advertise. Um, very affordably, and um, and it's a win-win for everybody.
And then one more thing, you mentioned CEU credits. Any suggestions on being able to qualify for CEU credits?
Well, you can talk to the different industries, but if you're doing anything from a leadership standpoint, it doesn't have to be. I mean, I've done CEU credit classes that were leadership based or communication based for a real estate firm, and it wasn't anything with real estate. So it's pretty easy. You can usually talk to the head and say, okay, what do you need? And you just give them, what they'll do is they'll even get it approved for you. Just say, here's the curriculum, here's what we're going to be talking about, and they'll send it and they'll get the CEU approval because everybody's is different. IEEE
Okay.
is different than whatever, and usually they'll handle that, and mainly the only thing they'll need from you is a list of your talking points or what the curriculum's about on your presentation.
Okay, great idea. Thank you.
Now we're going to talk about email marketing. Uh, if nothing else, take the first point on this slide and commit it to memory. Underlined it, I should have made it bold. Email lists are marketplaces. Think about that. Email lists are gold still. They're very, very extremely important. You need to get email addresses. Use a pop-up on your site. Give away something free that your prospects might want in order to collect their email. You can put sign-ups app on your Facebook page. Some people it works, for some people it doesn't. There used to had to be, you had to like the page, and I don't know if Facebook went away from it because I thought it was pretty cool when Facebook got a little more difficult, and I have to test this, but Tennessee Parent, I think it was Tennessee or Nashville Parent, did where you couldn't see any of the content on their Facebook page until you liked their page. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, they also asked for email addresses. So think about it. If you've kind of poo-pooed it because of social media, and I love social media, but do not forget how important email addresses are. Even if you have a smaller list, you can actually rent your list to list companies. They're out there. And you can rent it so you can give them a list and they will pay you for it. And I just put www.fivestarlist.com. And if you need lists, this is one place, but there are many places that you can get email lists. There are some people that think they work great. There are some people that think they don't when they go purchase emails. I think it is kind of a hit and miss. So even if you had one great success, I've known people who had the next was a great failure. So understand that. That's why you need to collect your own, and very, very, very important. You can use it for affiliate marketing, which we'll talk a little bit more about affiliate marketing, but when it comes to other people wanting to promote your stuff or vice versa, they'll want to know how many people are on your email list. Don't be afraid to say emails. I know that there's a lot of people who say, oh my gosh, people are getting too much email, too much email, too much email. If your content's great, if you have a great email um, opening line there for what the subject line is, and oh, by the way, 6 to 10 words get the most opens. Not less than 6, not more than 10, but 6 to 10 get the most opens. If you're doing that, you're I just lost my train of thought. That's what affiliates are going to want. So, oh no, don't be afraid to send emails. Sorry. If you double what you're already currently sending in email, it will produce results. I know I've got people who only want to send a newsletter out once a quarter, and I'm like, just try once a month for 3 to 6 months and see what happens. And they do get more response. If you're sending out once a month, send out twice a month. I don't like the everyday people, I'll admit that. But there's even a whole way that you can and maybe we talked about maybe doing just a thing on newsletters, but there can be a progression where you send a newsletter, and then you send a targeted email, and then you send an information email, and then you send something that's nothing but a sales pitch. So you can do that, different things to your targeted clienteles and markets with your email list. So Don't be afraid to send emails. I get really frustrated when people say, I don't want to send emails. Still the best way to get your word out. And depending on, take a look at what your open rate is. And if you're not getting the open rate results you want, make sure you're cleaning your list up. Make sure you're taking away emails that don't work. And I love MailChimp. Constant Contact I know is big. I like MailChimp a lot better. But anyway, they'll help you clean it out. They'll tell you ones that are rejected, who got off your list. Clean up your list. Don't pay for email addresses that don't work, but send emails. And you can do email targeted along with a newsletter. So newsletters, talking about advertising on a newsletter. There are all types of ways to advertise on a newsletter. There are many different ways to get paid for your newsletter with sponsors. Now, you can have a title bar sponsored by somebody. Make sure it's somebody that your clients value or is local, that they all know and understand. If you're putting out a sports newsletter and Sonic is a sponsor of your title bar, the local Sonic, people will identify with that, so that actually works. So think about that when you get any sponsors for these things. But the title bar, you can get the section header. Give some consideration to having areas of your newsletter which you give labels, like the tip of the week, the great story of the week, the great customer of the week. And you can have those individual boxes sponsored by, and you can put their information at the bottom with a link, and somebody can click to that website. So it's a great way to still give very relevant, very cool content to the people that want to read your newsletter, and you can be making money off of it as well. You can do a column ad. You have an author everybody loves or wants to make sure they read on your newsletter, have that sponsored by someone. So the Kansas City Independent here has Paul Horsley, who used to write for the Star in classical music. People will sponsor just his article because they know people really care about seeing what he has to write. And he's good. So think about that. If you've got somebody that's really funny, or you've kind of produced a little humor column every once in a while and people love it, get it sponsored. Now you can add a guest columnist and have them pay to be in your newsletter. To do that, you're going to obviously need numbers on how many people you send to and how many people open, and have someone sponsor your guest columnist. And this could be great around special events. If there's a big anniversary of a city, of a school, of anything, and you want to sponsor a guest writer to talk about that event, the St. Patrick's Day parade history, or the birthday of something, then people will sponsor those special ones as well. And one of the other things on your newsletter, if you choose not to advertise on your newsletter, then use a template that allows for you to take some of your favorite, best, or clients you want to have even stronger and put their ads in your newsletter. Don't have them pay for it. Tell them you're going to do it. And then tell them what their click-through rate was. They're going to love that because you're giving them free advertising, and boy, does that draw them nearer to you? Sure it does. Kansas City Independent again, here when they did their very first newsletter, I told them to get it sponsored, which they did. Tibble sponsored it, which is a very nice jewelry company here in Kansas City. And so Tibble sponsored it, and they had so many click-throughs to the Tibble website that Tibble started their own newsletter when they saw what happened with that one. So important, and think about it. So make money or tie your customers even closer to you. Information products. Are there any other questions?
Let's see. one of the comments that we had is that newsletters seem to be well tied to other forms of content marketing, and I know that you're getting at content marketing, but you would agree with that?
Yes. I mean, you can put newsletter posts and they can be your blog posts. You can do, and you'll see this a lot, people will start with a very attention-grabbing beginning of an article, and then they'll say read more, and it'll take you to the website to read more of it. So that's great. You can put it on your Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+. So yes, sometimes great content should be distributed on all social media platforms as
Okay.
well. Information products. Many times we forget how much information we have on our business, our hobby, our life, what we're good at. If you've got people coming to you for suggestions, help, or answers, you've got a product to monetize. There are people out there that would like our knowledge. And when I talk to any business who's thinking about an information product, or even as they're starting to write the content on their website, I mean, I was talking to a lawyer yesterday who's a divorce and family lawyer, and I said, think about the person as you write that is upset, unhappy, can't sleep, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're looking for information. Make sure that you can appeal to that person who wants it then. There are a lot of buys on informational products done between midnight and 5 in the morning. There was a gentleman, and I'll never forget, who did a gout blog. And really, he only did a couple of posts. And he showed a picture of his feet that were not attractive. And he did an affiliate marketing with a blog and information product. So we're going to be talking a little bit about affiliates. And then he showed a picture of his feet looking, 100% better. He said this wonderful supplement had helped him do this. And even though he was just affiliated with the product, he sold $30,000, I think, within 2 months, or made $30,000 within 2 months. And a lot of it came from people who were in that early morning time frame looking for information about gout and looking for help. So think about that. There are many ways to make money on your knowledge. CDs, MP3s. We're probably going to MP3s. So CDs, except in a couple of markets that's prevalent. Most are going to MP3s. Ebooks. Ebooks are great. I suggest you don't sell them on Amazon. I mean, you can, but a lot of times people take then when they go to Amazon and they greatly reduce the amount that they sell them for. Ebooks I've seen upwards to $299. Most of them are in the $20 to $80 range, but that's still more money than you can make off of Amazon on Kindle for $9.99. So think about that. But ebooks are great. Chapters or small amounts of info work just as well. So if you have a 10-point system for doing something, you can sell that for a lesser amount. Maybe you sell it for $2.99 or $4.99. But people like small amounts of info sometimes, and maybe they'll just want one taste and then they'll come back for more. But still, it's a great way. I've got a chiropractor who is working through putting up small bits of information for paid, in the $5 to $9 price range. But he's putting those information products together. Workbooks. Depending on what you're doing, you can do workbooks, classes online. Woo Themes has a great thing called Sensei. It's a plugin that actually allows you to create an entire class online with grades and the whole bit. So you can write tests, you can put videos up there, you can put audio up there, they can fill out questions. It's just super cool what they've done for a very affordable rate. So I think you're going to see a lot more of classes online happening. And they're going to be coming from individual people with a specialty or a passion in what they're teaching. Guitar lessons. I mean, obviously it's going to be somebody who plays the guitar well, but you're going to see a lot more of that, and they're going to be making money. And once they've taken the time to create that course, every time somebody buys it, they don't have any effort into it. Webinars, like we're doing now. A lot of people either use them to pay, to get you to pay for a product, or a lot of people now are charging to webinar for webinars if they're informative. And this was great. I just found this out last night as I was looking over this and kind of was doing some reading. China is loving ebooks. So hire a translator, and you can do that again on Odesk, maybe Fiverr, depending on how big the book is. I know that Fiverr was doing one for $5 a chapter, but you had to have $100 worth, and they were translating or writing your ebook for you. You can do it even with a little amount of time and make money with informational products. Coaching, consulting, mentoring. Remember what I said on the beginning of the first page or the last page about if people are asking you questions, then you should be a coach or a consultant or possibly mentor somebody. I had a woman who had one business, and she was very, very successful at raising money for nonprofits. She did the Lyric Ball here in Kansas City years ago and made $1 million. 2 days later, she had a call from the New York City Opera saying, how in the heck did you do that in Kansas City, and we can't pull that off in Manhattan? So what happened? Everybody wanted to pick her brain. And as we talked and I was working with her, I started with social media, but I said 65% of your calendar is people picking your brain. Stop it and have them pay for it. Your knowledge is too valuable. You need to start a second consulting business. And she did. And so she's making more money personally on her second business than her other business. But it's a bigger, whatever, bigger business. But think about that. A consultant works with clients on strategy planning, problem solving, and helps clients develop business skills and knowledge. And a coach helps clients to create success by focusing on personal development, time management, self-sabotaging behavior. They help them find clarity. Now, technically, a coach doesn't give them the answers. You help them find them. This day and age, you can make a lot of money by doing both at the same time. Consulting and help provide them, help guide them. Yes, they have to find their own way sometimes, but if you're a consultant and can really help focus them and do give them advice, that's worth a lot of money. And hourly wages in that are from $100 to $3,000 an hour. You may not want to do it for competitive business, but I know somebody who is actually is winding down. He's going to sell his business, and he's looking for potential clients to sell it to, and he's charging them like $1,000 for an hour or two, and he's hoping that from that he'll find somebody to sell his business to. Great strategy. He's making some bank and actually evaluating people as somebody he'd want to give his business to. Now, if you're going to be a coach consultant, evaluate your own skills, strengths, and weaknesses. Determine what success looks like. Choose a focus or niche based on your knowledge and strengths. Do you want to advise or do the work for them? Understand the business model of the industry. Are you going to outsource any area of marketing or your business to do this? I mean, are you going to go out and actually market it? Make sure you park your ego. that will hurt you, believe me, if you can't do that. Be honest about your own areas of personal development. Problem solving, decision making. If you have any of those weaknesses, you might want to learn tips on that before you go try to help somebody else. And talk to others doing coaching and consulting, and talk to other experts. I know we're kind of winding down, so anything else from that, Cynthia?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay. Membership sites and subscriptions. This has been quickly growing, and I think for a lot of reasons. I think it provides consistent revenue to the person who put the website out, up. Sites have gone from $5 a month to $1,500 a month, and that was an investment strategy site. And they had people. Obviously, you don't need a whole lot at $1,500 a month, but they were getting them. Many different things to do and give on a subscription service. You need content and information. You can do video, audio, those classes I just mentioned from Sensei. You build a sense of community. So have a forum, have a place where people can talk to each other and talk to you. And you can do it on all sorts of ideas. Golf, there's one for sermon ideas for pastors, marketing plans. There was one for Sunday school sites. There's one for success skills. They're all over. And just, when you think about subscription sites, the ladders, Netflix, HubSpot, Scholastic, BenchPress, the Boston Globe, all of these have subscription sites that are paid on a monthly basis. Great way to generate revenue as long as you have content. My daughter and I did Mad Advice Radio. It's a podcast which we'll talk about. One of the things we did for a long time is we did not share that with anybody other than the membership people on her website, to the parents and to her students that were on that. So that's one of the ways we chose to do it and share it only to people who had paid after we did the initial show. So many different ways to market it. I love the idea of membership sites. I think you're going to see them increase. Merchandising products. If you use humor or cool logos, people will buy them. I know, hard to believe. Grass landscaper used the catchphrase, cutting grass and smoking weeds. People bought all his products. He had a significant revenue stream because obviously that's funny. For the clientele that wanted to buy that, and he sold t-shirts, mugs, koozies, the whole bit. And he had a whole side business in just doing that. So think about it. If you can do something cute, people will buy it. Even nonprofits, they do great things with t-shirts, and maybe that's something you can support. We did a nonprofit, I Thirst. We did $20 Saves a Life. They were building wills in Africa. He got somebody to sponsor those as well, of the creation of the t-shirts. All the money, of course, went to the wells, but somebody was willing to sponsor and put their name and logo on the shirt as well. So different ways to merchandise and get your name out or make money. Thermography business selling health supplements. People came in the office to purchase. That's the only way they could do it. And there weren't many thermography. At that time, there was only one in the whole area. And so people drove a long way. She put them online, and then she moved to Amazon. Amazon's not now doing all the work pretty much, because she's now got them on her website, but they go to Amazon, so they're doing the delivery for her. But she's got a whole additional increased revenue stream just because she took the supplements, she put her logo on them, and now she's selling them. Affiliate programs. Affiliate marketing is a type of performance-based marketing in which a business rewards one or more affiliates for each visitor or customer by the affiliate's own marketing efforts. This is where you get pay-per-click, pay-per-lead, pay-per-sale. Look for people in the same business, or look for something like the Gap gentleman. Obviously, he had used a supplement that he felt helped him. He created an ad. He did a blog. He did an affiliate program. Every time a supplement was sold from his blog post, he made money. So that's what affiliates can do. You've seen a lot of people doing that with launches of books. They want to get to the number one New York Times bestseller with their book launch. And they'll go to a bunch of people with huge lists, email lists, and they'll do a competition probably between them and say, okay, here's your link. How many are going to sell for me? And I'll reward, obviously they're going to give money for every sale that comes from that affiliate, but at the same time, then they can do special rewards for people who sell the most out of all the people. Jeff Walker, I think, who we talked about with his launch book, he did that. And it was interesting that one of the people with a smaller email list actually had more people buy than some of the people with huge lists. So that's a good way to get information about a product launch out quickly. Look for people in the same business, look for affiliates that play off each other. If you want to do internet marketing, you could have website development, coaching, marketing affiliates, the product that you're in. It's an easy way to make money if you have traffic, email numbers, or content for those that are interested in it. I think I'm on my last one, so any other questions?
So on affiliates, I think you addressed this,
Mhm.
but could you go back to that page? You kind of talked about people in the same business, and are there any other ingredients or key factors when you recruit affiliates you want to think about?
Well, um, if you can work with them, quite frankly. I will say that there's some affiliate people out there, and you will be getting their emails if you're in the leadership business or they're selling webinars. Some of those people have gotten to where they want 100% of your profit if they um, promote you, and they're hoping then because they've promoted you, you make money on anything after that. I don't like that business model. I think it's very greedy. So I think you have to do your due diligence when you talk to some of these people, um, and see if it's just a personality or something that you like. Make sure you go take a look at their website. I'd ask for communication to make sure they're what you're trying to um, get out there about your business. Make sure that, integrity, ethics, those type things that are important to your brand, they have as well.
Great, that's helpful.
The last one, well, the last one we're going to talk about is podcasting radio. And my humble opinion, everybody ought to be doing this for lots of reasons. Um, this is a great, great tool for your business or hobby and a way to drive traffic, make money, and get clients because people want to build relationships. It's gotten so cold in some ways. You don't know people, and you kind of want to know people. When you're doing business, especially significant business with people, you want to know what makes them tick, or at least think you know them. And podcasting radio is such a way to do that. And of course, I'm going to be the proponent of internet radio because as you listen to all my different activities, I really care about small business and I really care about them getting their information out economically. And internet radio and podcasting is a way to do that. Terrestrial radio still is very, very expensive. So, and that would be hard for you to make your money on, but this isn't. You can produce a 30-minute show. Excuse me, I'm going to get a quick drink. Or an hour podcast, and keep times available for commercials. Sell your own commercial. Put your own commercial for your business in there. Sell your advertising slots. Put a package deal together, maybe to your newsletter advertisers or to your clients. Have them say, hey, I'm going to put a commercial up. I'm going to put an ad in my newsletter. It's going to cost X number of dollars. Sell interview time. Especially once you get established doing podcasting, people will pay you if you've got listeners. And even if you don't, they'll probably pay you for the opportunity for you to interview them, give them the MP3, so now they can advertise that they were on such and such podcast, and they're going to put it on all their social media. Just look at what you've just done from a marketing perspective. And you've done it for very, very little money. A little bit of time, but for very little money. So you can use yours on social media, your websites. You can even upload audio and put some cool PowerPoint or pictures on and up it to YouTube or Vimeo. Add a phone app. Believe it or not, create a phone app depending on what your show's about. A yoga podcaster created a $3.99 app that sold really well. Oh, by the way, she told everybody listening to her podcast to go buy it. They did, and it was a compilation of her radio shows that talked about yoga. So she was probably selling advertising. She was probably selling interviews. She was giving away some great content. Oh, now, by the way, would you also go out and buy a $3.99 app? And they did. So you can sell your shows on your website. I've had some people who, because they did a 30-minute interview or have a 30-minute podcast, what they've done is they might have had an hour, hour and a half interview. It was really going well. It kept going. They sold the entire interview online. Jon Stewart sometimes says, if you want to see the full interview, go to my website. Well, you can do that. Again, one, it gets you traffic. Two, you can probably sell it. Not for a lot, but you can probably sell it. Or you can add it to your subscription membership site. So people are gonna want to hear who you are. And if you think, oh no, I can't do this, you can. Practice. The main thing we tell people is talk a little louder than normal and talk a little faster than normal, because that's going to show your energy, and smile because they're going to see that. And after you do a couple shows, yeah, I don't think there's anybody that has a great first or second show, but as they continue doing it, they get better and better and better. And just we do have on Craving Talk Radio a gentleman who does a growing trend show, and they just got a $5,000 sponsorship. So there's money to be made if you do it and do it well. And oh, by the way, they're only on their fourth show. So one, he went out and asked, which with a lot of this, you still have to go out and ask. But podcasting radio is, I believe, a very important way to get your message out. So Cynthia, I know I'm probably right at the mark, of an hour.
Yes, you are. So we'll go ahead and recap and wrap up.
Okay, and I think I need to send it back to you. But just a quick recap here, and you'll see that these are all different ways that you can make money off of what you do, what you love, and what you do often. Additional stream of income, I'm a big proponent on it. Think about it, look at these things, see if there are different ways. Doesn't have to be all of them, it can only be one or two, but think about making additional money, because who doesn't want that in business? That's all for me.
Thank you, Kenna. And I'm going to take it back just for a moment and let people know what's happening next week. Okay. By the way, folks, you can catch all of Kenna's social media webinar videos on businessperformanceusa.org. And also, I want to let you know that you can always contact Kenna directly at 816-582-7366 or info@socialcentricmedia.com. And we've asked Kenna to come back and talk with us more about each of these strategies for monetizing your hobbies, your business, and your know-how. And don't forget, next week, we're going to have Sources of Return on Investment and Return on Resources by Dr. Jefferson Stewart. And then we have back Emily Shoup, who's coming back to talk about Rally the Team for Success. And then more on background screening August 26th. So join us back every Tuesday at noon Central. We look forward to hosting you. And thanks so much, Kenna, for all of this great set of ideas for how to really monetize your business know-how. And boy, I learned some things today, folks. So come back and see us next week. We look forward to hosting you. Bye, everyone. Go out and make it a great day. With that, I'll be closing the webinar.